Hey, it's Mia Moore, and we are back with another book review. So, for this month, we did Who Moved My Cheese by Dr. Spencer Johnson. Now, if you're thinking the way I thought when I heard the title, I'm like, I don't want to read this stupid book, but it's a really good book. So, I suggest that if you just graduated college or high school and you're just starting your career, read this book. Okay, so the book is about the author telling a story about two mice and two little people who are in a maze looking for cheese. He is telling the story to his old high school friends at a restaurant. It's like a reunion. The two mice names are Sniff and Scurry, and the two little people names are Him and Hall. So the story starts off with all four of them searching for a place to find cheese. So sooner rather than later, they discovered a station where cheese exists. So they tie up their running shoes and sit them to the side and devour the cheese every day. Now Sniff and Scurry does their normal routine of waking up early and going to the cheese. Him wakes up late because he knows the cheese will always be there no matter what time he gets to it. So one day, they discovered that the cheese was no longer there. Rat race. Okay. So Sniff noticed that the supplies was getting smaller. So instead of complaining, Sniff and Scurry put on their running shoes and went to look for the cheese. The little people didn't notice the cheese supply getting smaller and was unprepared and couldn't believe it was a shock. So the next day, the mice continued to look for cheese, but the little people, went back to the same station and still couldn't believe that there was no cheese. They felt entitled to it and had to get to the bottom on why there was no cheese anymore. They were evaluating their situations. They became frustrated and angry and were blaming each other for their situations. The mice, on the other hand, found a new cheese station. The cheese was simply in a new location. Are you guys getting it? Play on words. Yeah. That's you. So after a couple, hold on, let me read it. Yeah. After a couple of days returning to the same station, the little people, and discovered the cheese will never come back, Hall was ready to look for new cheese, but Him was comfortable and didn't want to leave. Him told Hall, "I'm getting too old for that, and I'm afraid. I'm not interested in getting lost and making a fool of myself." They continue the same cycle with the same results. No cheese. I know there are people out there that are home. You know Him. Yeah, they're Him. They just staying in the same place. They don't want to go anywhere. They just can't let go of the past, bro. Like, come on. Y'all need to read this book. So Hall realized that his fear is hindering him from eating and making him look foolish anyway. Him just want to stay at the same station forever, discovering what went wrong. Hall is slowly realizing that sometimes you can't help others or motivate them. Sometimes things change and they're never going back the same. Throughout the maze, Hall wrote quotes on the maze in hopes that it would inspire him to look for cheese. One of them is, "If you do not change, you become extinct." What would you do if you were afraid? I like that one. What would you do if you wasn't afraid? I'm sorry, I said that way wrong. What would you do if you wasn't afraid? If you wasn't afraid of going for that job, having that baby, you could be in a better place right now. Ha is going through self-reflection, realizing that he needs to be more cautious of his surroundings and trying to anticipate the future. Ha is finally ready to look for new cheese, even though at times his fear creeps in, but he reminds himself it's better to take control than to do nothing at all. always think about what he could gain instead of what he lost. So another quote is, the quicker you let go of old cheese, the sooner you find new cheese. Him is still at the old cheese station. Ha asked him to join him in the discovery of new cheese, but he declined. Ha discovered bits of new cheese, but not a topia of cheese like the first station. He brought it back to him, hoping it would motivate him to join, but he refused to eat it because it was new. So new quotes, so some quotes, I'm sorry. Noticing small changes early helps you adapt to the bigger changes that are to come. What you are afraid of is never as bad as what you imagine. The fear you let build up in your mind is worse than the situation that actually exists. His old thinking had been clouded by his worries and fears. Ha is realizing people have to find their own way and work past their fears to adapt and change. They have to see the advantages of changing themselves. So I want to read y'all what some of the quotes, page 74. So literally half of the pages look like this, babe. Easy read. And this book was $10 and I got it from like a thrift store. So it says, change happens. They keep moving the cheese. Anticipate change. Get ready for the cheese to move. Monitor change. Smell the cheese often so you know when it is getting old. Adapt to change quickly. The quicker you let go of old cheese, the sooner you can enjoy new cheese. Change. Move with the cheese. Enjoy change. Savor the adventure and enjoy the taste of new cheese. Be ready to change quickly and enjoy it again and again. They keep moving the cheese. Period. So, basically, Ha finally found the cheese. I don't know how long it took him, but eventually he found that cheese. And he did go back to him and tell him, yo, I found cheese. I can show you where it's at. And I was like, no. So yeah, you have those people in your lives, you know, you'll find the goal eventually. That's like people saying life is a marathon, not a sprint. You'll get it when you get it, but hopefully you have people around you that can guide you in the right direction. And one thing I didn't think about is, like, in the book, like, he could have asked the mice. Like, I don't know if they speak or not. He could have asked the mice, hey, did you find the cheese? But sometimes we're in our mind so much that we don't even want to ask, you know, other people. We just want to click up and just only talk to those two people. You can ask for help, you know. So things to think about. But to continue the story, so the storyteller wraps up talking to his friends, and what he told them was, I thought my job was just to manage the daily problems as they came up, but what I should have been doing was looking ahead and paying attention to where we were going. I realized my job was to paint a picture of new cheese that we would all want to pursue so we could enjoy changing and succeeding, where it was at work or in life. So he then continues to tell his friends that they did an experiment at work, and he told the story and identified each character. He said the Sniffs recognized change and it adapted in time. The Scurries valued action and results. The Hims valued safety and security, and the Haws were eventually fired because they did not change. So when he was telling the story, he did say that it took the Hims, you know, a little bit of pushing, nudging for them to actually change. But when they did, it was good. So that's better than staying the same and getting fired, to be honest. So this is where his classmates, like, interject. They add their own 2 cents, and I think 2 of them. So one of them says, the story made them think of their personal lives. I probably need to let go of a bad relationship, or perhaps the old cheese is just old behavior. What we really need to let go of is a behavior that is caused by a bad relationship and then move on to a better way of thinking and acting. To sum up, the new cheese is a new relationship with the same person. So I felt this one, you can always rebuild those relationships. It's just the effort. And then another classmate said, as far as work goes, maybe instead of changing jobs, I should be changing my attitude in the job. I would probably have a better position by now if I did. Facts. Have to enjoy what you do. Struggling with that right now. So this is why I put things to think about. Some people search for cheese because they like it, and others search for cheese that would make them feel happy and successful. Some people beliefs and emotions take over and cloud the way they look at things and make everything complicated. They lose sight of new cheese and people begin to be complacent and comfortable. People confidence grew into arrogance of success. So that's definitely him and Hall. So yeah. That's all, folks.